Hey everybody, it's July 25th, 2025. I'm Joe Nelson. This is your Bring Me the Sports Minnesota Top 10. Let's get right to it. Number 10, Twins trade deadline as we share the screen with Lavelle E. Neal III and his Twitter account. The man's been locked in as a beat writer for the Twins for a very long time, so I trust what he says. And he tweeted, "Hello everybody." Well, he didn't say that. He said trade deadline thoughts, as you can see right here. Dealing Joe Ryan for a significant overpay only. Making some demand for Griffin Jax or Joan Duran sounds nice but unrealistic. Moving Christian Vasquez, Chris Paddock, Ty France, Trevor Larnach, Matt Wallner? Okay. What do you expect to get for them? Prediction: the Twins don't make a trade. He wasn't done. Then he said, quote, "And if they trade their spare parts, expect A-ball players who aren't on the 40-man roster in return. Just trying to manage expectations here. Trading sounds sexy, but can often lead to a letdown." Those are all fair, valid points by the one and only Lavelle E. Neal III. All right, let's talk on number 9. We'll actually talk about the latest Twins rumors. We go over to Twins on SI. We see a Royce Lewis story here. We see a story we're going to get to in a second here, but then we find this one, Twins trade rumors. Duran or Jax on the move? 4 others widely expected to be dealt. What is that all about? Well, all we got to do is scroll down to find out that ESPN's Alden Gonzalez says the quote senses that at least one of Duran or Jax will be traded. Gonzalez also says the Twins are widely expected to trade outfielder Harrison Bader, utility man Willie Castro, starting pitcher Chris Paddock, and lefty reliever Danny Coulombe. That's widely expected to trade. So we could be looking at 4 or 5 key players on the current team who could be gone in a matter of 6 days because the deadline is coming July 31st at 5 o'clock Central Time. ESPN's Jeff Passan, by the way, he thinks there are 4 moves that could set the Twins up for a brighter future. He's saying, A, cash in on a relief arm. He's clearly talking about Joan Duran or Griffin Jax. B, deal Brock Stewart. C, move Willie Castro. And D, get something for Eddie Julian or Jose Miranda. And he claims if they do that, the future could look a whole lot brighter. Do you agree? Disagree? Lavelle E. Neal does not, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go back to the homepage for number 8. Former MLB executive wants to see a blockbuster Twins-Dodgers trade. What does Jim Bowden write about for The Athletic? Well, he says a trade that would send Duran, Jax, and Castro, all 3 of them, to the Dodgers for 20-year-old outfielder Jose De Paula, left-handed pitcher Jackson Ferris, right-hander Bobby Miller, and outfielder Jaron Elkins. So you have to ask yourself, is this a fair deal? And I can tell you right now that the Twins would be getting ripped off based on how things have worked out recently. Remember, Jeff Passan of ESPN recently said the Twins' asking price for Duran or Jax, not both, is at least 2 top 100 caliber prospects. Now, that is fair because Tanner Scott, the all-star closer last year for the Miami Marlins, was traded to the Padres for effectively 3 of San Diego's top 5 prospects, including a guy who was ranked 44th overall by MLB Pipeline. So if you get all of that for Tanner Scott, who was a rental and wound up signing with the Dodgers after the season, the Twins damn well certainly can ask for 2 top 100 prospects for either Duran or Jax because both are under team control until 2027. So what do we know about these players that the Dodgers are offering the Twins back in Jim Bowden's hypothetical deal? Well, I can tell you that Jose, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I'm going to call him Jose De Paula. Well, he's a consensus top 25 prospect league-wide. Jackson Ferris is their next best prospect at number 97 overall. So, yes, you are getting 2 top 100 prospects, but for 2 guys and Willie Castro, that's not enough. No chance. Elkins, he's a 20-year-old outfielder doing well in rookie ball right now, but he's their number 23 overall prospect. And Bobby Miller, he's 26, has shown some flash as a decent starting pitcher, but he's got a career 5.44 ERA, and he's not even pitching this season. So Not a deal that anybody's going to look at it and be like, yay, the Twins are going to make that. Let's go to number 7. We're going to stick with the Twins, and it is going to be Keith Law's top 60 prospect rankings. These are updated. The Twins have 4 players in the Athletics top 60. This is pretty cool. It doesn't include, just off top of mind, David Festa, Zebby Matthews, Luke Keyshaw, any players who have made it to the big leagues this year. So it's a fresh 60. All of these guys are in the minors or perhaps just drafted recently this month. But the best on the list is still Walker Jenkins. He's number 11 overall. Keith Law still loves him. Number 32 overall is Emmanuel Rodriguez, who's currently injured again with a right oblique strain. The man just cannot stay healthy and maximize his power potential. Number 44 in the top 60 is last year's first-round pick, shortstop Kalen Culpepper. He is crushing at Double-A. He's slashing .352 with .418 on-base percentage and a .534 slugging. That's a OPS over .954 approximately, with 5 homers, 13 RBIs in just 21 games. He's mashing at that level, and Keith Law loves him. He's a true shortstop who projects to stay there with 55 or 60 on the scale to 70, I believe it is. Defensive ability, line drive swing production, some home run power, a lot of hard contact in the form of doubles and triples, low strikeout rate. So lots of big upside. More upside beyond that if he tightens up his swing decisions. You got to love that if you're a Twins fan. And then number 50, the 4th and final Twins prospect in Keith Law's top 60 is left-hander Connor Prelip, who is healthy for the first time since basically 2019. Former Alabama Crimson Tide stud, has 55 strikeouts and only 11 walks in 47 and 2/3 innings this season. He's got a chance to be a frontline starter if he can hold up and be healthy, according to Keith Law. Number 6 on our list, we go to basketball, and we're going to talk about our good buddy Shaquille O'Neal because he was going nuts, and he did it without being provoked. Here it is. Look at that headline. I hate him. Shaq promises to wear dress if Rudy Gobert makes Hall of Fame. So we've got some demeaning sexism. We've got some hate. We've got some bitterness, all because Rudy Gobert doesn't play the same way Shaq did, and he makes more money than Shaq did when Shaq played in a different era. But on the Big Pad podcast, Shaq says, I effing hate Rudy Gobert because that mother effer is making $250 million and he doesn't deserve it. And I will remind you, nobody prompted Shaq to talk about Rudy Gobert. It was actually the Morris twins, Marcus and Markieff, just simply talking about how they're kind of nasty to their opponents, trash talking on the court, but then off the court, they'll be like, hey, how's your wife and kids? How's business? How you doing? They're friendly. But they have that persona and the attitude when they play basketball. And then Shaq went out of his way to say, not me. I hate Rudy Gobert, and I hate him all the time. And he goes, as president of the Big Man Alliance, if you making big money, play like a effing big man. That's it. Play like an effing big man. Throw some bows. Knock some people out. Don't be letting little white dudes from Denver dunk on you and talk bleep to you, and then you got to grab them by the neck at the last second. Come on, bro. That's it. If you're going to be effing getting paid big money, play big. He wasn't done. Then he pulled out a life-size poster of Charles Barkley wearing a cocktail dress and said he'll wear a dress just like that at Gobert's Hall of Fame ceremony if Gobert is inducted into the Hall of Fame. Not only that, he said, if he gets in, take me out. So, Shaquille O'Neal, everybody. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. You're a petty man. You're a very petty man, and it's really pathetic. Number 5 on our list, we're going to go college football. This one is making the Wisconsin Badgers look kind of bad because they had a trio of players representing them for their football team at Big Ten Media Days this week. And they all went on. Billy Edwards Jr., their quarterback, Jake Renfro, and cornerback Ricardo Hallman. They were asked by Dave Revson if there was one team that they could guarantee a win against this season, it would be Minnesota. All 3 of them picked Minnesota, but here's the caveat. It's not getting enough attention. Dave Revson asked them to choose between Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, and Minnesota. Everybody's picking Minnesota in that scenario. Nobody's picking Wisconsin, not even Wisconsin, to guarantee a win over Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, or Oregon. Minnesota is the easiest of the bunch until proven otherwise. So, Gophers fans, it's nice bulletin board material for you, but it is not as it seems from the surface. Number 4 on the list. Oh, God, we're getting dicey now. This is where our top 10 gets really negative and creates some mental strain. Justin Jefferson has what head coach Kevin O'Connell called a very mild hamstring strain. He's going to be out this week. Rest of the weekend practices at training camp. He appeared to suffer the injury at practice on Thursday after he made a catch and came down, made some contact with new cornerback Jeff Okudah. He's going to be out this weekend. The Vikings say they'll reevaluate him next week. But here's the encouraging stuff. Kevin O'Connell said, "The best thing is we avoided anything serious. I see no concerns in regards to week 1 and have no worry at all that we'll be able to get Justin ready to go for the regular season." Whew. Hold your breath. Hamstring injuries, soft tissue injuries, they can be touchy, but you can rest assured the Vikings are going to be very careful with Justin Jefferson for the foreseeable future. We may not see him get much action at all before the week 1 opener, which is over a month away in early September, Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears. This is the opposite leg of the leg that Jefferson suffered the hamstring injury during the 2023 season in a game against the Chiefs, and it knocked him out for 7 weeks. Not good. Soft tissue injury. That's what Justin Jefferson is dealing with. Number 4 on the list. We are still talking about Justin Jefferson, but this is in regards to his quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. He's preaching patience. Here's what Justin Jefferson had to say about the QB, who's only 22 years old and facing a ton of scrutiny already.
For sure, you definitely have to have patience. You know, he's a pretty much a rookie. You know, last year pretty much doesn't count for him. So he's still new to the scheme, new to coming out here and throwing it to these different receivers. So yes, you have to have that patience. You know, you're not really expected to him to have the same mindset as a veteran. You know, you can't really have that expectation from him, but we do have an expectation of him being great, him coming out here every single day and working his butt off and progressing every single day, and we do see that progression just on the second day of camp. So it's coming along for him. I feel like you can kind of see the confidence that he have out there, and if you're in the huddle, you see the confidence that he have just seeing the play and just getting out there and just wanting to, you know, make the next play. So I feel like his progression is coming along.
Number 2 on the list. Let's keep it with J.J. McCarthy, but this is going to be more about what the head coach Kevin O'Connell is saying about expectations for him in his first year as the starting quarterback. Great story here, written by yours truly. Of course it's great. I wrote it. It's at Vikings on SI. That's si.com/NFL/Vikings. You can find all of our Vikings content that we operate via Bring Me the Sports and Bring Me the News here in Minnesota. But there's going to be some ups and downs. There's going to be some ups. There's going to be some downs. That's what head coach Kevin O'Connell said in an extensive radio interview with KFAN's Dan Barrero on Thursday. I thought this was really good. He's focused on McCarthy's development individually, but also how he's supported by a roster that they've bulked up with, improving the offensive line, adding some more receiving help, and of course getting Jordan Mason to be a 1-2 lightning thunder combo with Aaron Jones in the backfield. Quote, "I am wildly in favor of the quarterback development process involving more than just the quarterback. I believe you're supposed to put a really good team around any quarterback that plays." And he made it very clear that he's trying to build McCarthy into a sustainable quarterback. How can you read into that? What can you glean from that? Well, I think it's pretty simple. He just means there's going to be some ups and downs. Take a look at this quote. You hear me use that term hard down all the time. I think too many people in this league force the young quarterback to play the hard down. It's hard enough as it is. There's no removing the difficulty of what playing the quarterback position is in the NFL. You can't hide from a 3rd and 7. You can't hide from a 3rd and 8 at the 8. That's a quarterback down, O'Connell said. He continued, that's a quarterback down, but what are we doing all the other times? What are we doing to put drives together, stack plays, marry the run and the pass? A whole lot of things that can sound cliche if we don't live it, breathe it, and do it for the player on a daily basis. And then remember, we drafted a player we hoped would hold himself to a standard that allows that arrow to stay pointed up regardless of the result, especially early on. because we're trying to build a player here that can sustain for a long time in Minnesota. That is fascinating stuff from the insight of the man who's known as the quarterback whisperer on JJ McCarthy. And number one on our list today, we go back to Anthony Edwards, where there was some thoughts that he might be performing on a new album, but he's not. Not yet, anyway. Anthony Edwards is not on the new song that was released by Wale and Pusha T. It is he's a collaborator on it. He curated the album with his brother, who goes by the hip-hop name Be Different, as you can see right here. And his brother released the song In the Mirror. Anthony Edwards on the YouTube channel is credited as being the lyricist. So sweet album artwork here with him and his brother, Legend in My Hood. The track Damage Control, as far as we can tell, Anthony Edwards is not on it, but he helped curate it, whatever that means, right? But on his brother's album, we'll go to the YouTube to show you, Be Different. Be Different YouTube. Check this out. We'll share this screen instead. You go down to the more. Look at what we find here. Anthony Edwards. The song was released today, July 25th, 2025. Main artist, Be Different. Producer, Kangaroo 809. Associate performer, Anthony Edwards. They spelled his name wrong. Anthony. Lyricist, Anthony Edwards. I assume that's Anthony Edwards. But if he wrote the lyrics for this, that's pretty sweet. So go check out Be Different in the Mirror on YouTube if you want to get a taste of what Anthony Edwards might be spitting out on paper for his rapper brother to perform. That's some pretty cool stuff from Anthony Edwards as he goes from basketball to acting all the way to the music element of things now. So pretty cool stuff. And this is super unheard of. Look at this. You want to be first to the punch on Be Different? 167 views. It's been up for a full day. It's not getting a lot of traffic. So Anthony Edwards supporting his brother the best way he knows how. Anyway, that's our show for today. The Bring Me the Sports Minnesota Top 10. Hope you enjoyed it. That's all I've got. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend.